Welcome back to Healthy Rebel Radio, episode 144. My name is Dr. David Dizer, and I'm here with my co-host, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's jump into it. We're back. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at Healthy Rebel Radio. Let's jump into today's episode. Amy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm feeling very Nordic now. I feel like ever since we did your ancestry, Amy's 3% Swedish.
I'm very into it.
And now we're into it.
The other day, someone asked me if I was Swedish, and I was like, "Some, yes."
Yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Thank
a bit.
you for noticing.
This pinky finger is definitely.
No, I think it's more than that. 3%
Oh, it's more
is
than
actually pretty.
3% is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you watch the last season of Vikings, I mean, we're obsessed.
We're really into it.
So and having kids, I mean, the crafting possibilities are out of this world. So I mean, if you go on Pinterest and you go to Nordic crafts.
Okay, what it is I love Nordic design. My dream is to have a Nordic style flat black home, cabin, and completely the Scandinavian Nordic style interior. I love it. The minimalistic.
It's so beautiful.
Just nature. It's just so inspiring.
I feel like it's the minimalist style that would suit us best.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pretty calming.
It just feels so good. And without all the kids stuff, that is how we live. But now that we have all the kids stuff in here, it's not as.
Yeah. So
anyway,
crafting makes it really fun.
Yeah. So I did some all natural crafts with the kids. We did like Nordic style little present toppers that then people can put on their tree. They're really sweet, and we did wreaths, and we did some flower arrangements and some candle holders, and they're just beautiful. And the kids can help, because it's all that rustic nature feel. So when they add their little flair to it, it's beautiful.
I think it's a meditative process.
What?
Crafting.
Yeah.
You're in it. You're ridiculously present. Anything that makes you present, I'm all for.
Yeah. Because
just in today's society, I mean, the distractions are endless.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's art. Any form of art is definitely a meditative, creative process.
Well, I mean, the dopamine hits that we are bombarded with, that I'm finding that I have to look for things to get me focused. Like, I'm obsessed with reading, and I try to.
Not all of us have time to read. What a luxury it must be.
What a luxury. But anyways, anything that's meditative, I think, is helpful. And if you don't have something like that in your life, honestly,
and
there's
it doesn't have to be dramatic.
benefit.
It can be something like doing, nature crafts with your kids.
Absolutely. It can be something like Sudoku or crosswords, or just something where you're in the moment and not thinking about the past or the future. Or putting extreme pressure on yourself. Like, there's no pressure with crafting,
Yeah, there's no pressure.
There's no pressure except to make amazing crafts.
Mm-hmm. Or to get things done before ever eats them. That is one new pressure while crafting.
Absolutely. It's weird having a child who is trying to eat everything she gets her hands on.
Yeah, we didn't have that experience with True. Like, I could take True to the beach when she was a baby, and she'd just sit there and play, like let the sand sift through her hands, and then she would find shells and rocks, and she'd just touch them and look at them, and she'd try to put them in her pocket, and anything ever puts her hands on just goes straight to her mouth. So it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, she's still curious and just wondering how everything tastes.
Mm-hmm. She's like,
It's helpful for eating, even though True's a good eater too.
They're both great eaters, yeah.
But it does help. Like, she'll try any food.
Yeah, Ever has no hesitation.
Yeah, well, we didn't. Now True's trying foods that she hasn't tried before.
Yeah, it's interesting. She now wants to push. She finds oh, this is weird. I think we've done a really good job though with using weird as a positive.
Yeah, that's a good
she
point.
all the time will look at me and be like, "Mom, this was we'll have a really weird experience outside, doing whatever." And she'll look at me and she'll giggle and she'll go, "Mom, that was weird."
That was weird.
We love it.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Definitely. I noticed that last night with the candy cane. So we went to this Christmas event last night, and she wasn't exposed to sugar for many years.
No, so on her second birthday was the first time she had refined sugar. I got her a vegan cake from a vegan bakery. And David
wow,
and
look
I,
at us. Oh my goodness.
we had a big discussion before it, and I'm like, I'm just going to give her a slice of cake. Whatever happens. I was like basically talking at him to talk to myself. However much she wants to eat, let's just see. And I mean, it was sweet because she sat there. It was the funnest. Like, she thought it was so crazy she was having cake.
Yeah.
And then she had like 3 bites.
Oh my
And she was like, I'm done. That was good.
I'm done. Finished.
And anyway, so we've learned over the years that with True, her little personality is such that if she gets even a vibe that we don't want her to have something, that's the only thing on earth that she wants. Mm-hmm. And she will just quadruple down on it.
Yeah.
So we talked to each other before. She had this candy cane fantasy. So before we went to this Christmas event yesterday.
Candy canes are all the rage.
Well, they're in the books. They're in every Christmas book. Like, everything we see, there's a candy cane in everyone's hands. It's imagery everywhere.
Yeah.
So I had the conversation with David, like, if she wants to try this, we just have to give it to her. Just let her try it. And I said, I just have a good feeling it won't last. Yeah. Also, I prefaced it by saying, you know what candy canes taste like, True? Toothpaste. And girl hates toothpaste. So I kind of ruined it right before. Yeah. So anyway, this gentleman handed her a candy cane. She was so excited. She tried it. How long?
2 licks.
2 licks. And then she was like, okay, that's good.
Okay, good. And
she's like, it tastes like toothpaste.
Funny, didn't say it was gross.
No, it didn't.
No, no admittal.
She will never admit that it wasn't as cool as what she thought.
We've done that with ourselves too. I mean, personally, I used to be into junky chocolate. Like, I used to be into...
yeah, it was real residual. This is like years ago.
Years ago.
This is not now.
Years and years ago, just super low quality, whatever.
Well, I think it was part and parcel that we still, like, we were in the health mindset, but we were more in the, like, fitness, like, for lack of a better term, like, bodybuilding world.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And in that world, it was still very much the culture to, like, eat really, really clean, really, really clean, and then have, like, a junk day. And what you're exposed to, what junk day was, is, like, people were going to, like, Dairy Queen and getting blizzards and, like, getting fast food meals, and, like, there was no concept of, like, consistent health. It was like, this is your treat day, eat all the crap you can. It was, like, very much that culture.
Yeah. Then we got away from that culture.
Then I broke up with the culture.
And then getting back to it, remember that time I had that blizzard, which was like 8 years later. So what is this?
It tastes junk. Once you cleanse your palate of real junk, it's just disgusting. You can't, it doesn't taste like food. It tastes like chemicals. Like,
it tasted, like, you're right. That's a good way of putting it. It tasted just like chemicals.
Yeah. And I remember you having, like, the junk chocolate at, like, a family thing. And then you're like, okay, that just is wax.
Yeah.
With, like, and I'm like, yeah, it actually is wax. Look at the ingredients. It's disgusting.
Well, then I doubled down and I went back to, this is like the Superstore chocolate covered almonds. And I tried them again. This is like recently, a couple years
President's Choice brand or something.
President's Choice, whatever brand it is. Just a standard chocolate covered almond.
That don't cost, aren't $1 million.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's disgusting. There's a reason why.
This is unreal.
It's factory.
Unreal. It takes discipline to get there. Fortunately for us, we got into a different mindset, culture.
You have to have a, like, break up with old thoughts, and you have to just be at peace with it.
Your taste buds will change.
Yeah, and they do. They totally evolve. Like, your headspace evolves. Like, those things don't even turn my head, make me think. They make me sick.
Yeah.
Like, talking about it makes me sick. Like, I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Absolutely.
I used to be obsessed with candy.
Right. Oh, yeah. Remember that?
Yeah, just candy.
Penny candy.
Okay, don't date me.
Okay, sorry. Come on. I don't think that's... we all had penny candy.
Thanks, honey.
No problem.
It's even worse when you try to defend my...
Oh.
I used to be obsessed with, like, candy.
Yeah.
That was my jam. So then when I got older, I was like, oh, obviously I still love candy.
Definitely.
Ugh, it makes me sick thinking about it. It's just sugar.
It's wrong. It feels wrong. And then as an adult, I think you get more sensitive to the swings.
You get sensitive to the swings, and, like, they just become
I guess more in tune.
Well,
Is that right?
They become more clear. Like, when I stopped, first I went from... When I went to school to be a holistic nutritionist, I read all the information and was just like, oh, dairy, it's a long story and I'm not going to get into, like, whatever, but I never really ate meat anyway in my life. So then I was like, oh, like, dairy's not for me. So I went completely off dairy. But then when I got into like the fitness culture, everyone's like, well, you don't have enough protein. You need eggs and dairy. So I brought eggs and dairy back in, and just the hormonal stuff that went on with my body, just seeing that, it was just like a total shift. It was a nightmare. And then when I took like, which takes a few cycles and a while to cleanse out of your system and get yourself back on track. And then when I removed it and saw such again, like a huge difference in my system, you just don't want to go back. Like, you're an adult. Like, you are like, oh, I want to like feel good, and I don't want to be a mess, and I don't want super heavy periods, and I don't want to be in pain, and I don't want to break out like a teenager.
Right.
That being said, I'm so broken out right now because I'm getting my cycle back, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
definitely.
You know, you get to a place where you have to own being an adult, and the only person standing in your way, no matter how you think things are, is you. Mm-hmm. So if you want to feel good, you have to take the steps what it costs. You just have to do it. You have to pay to play. Like, that's just what it is. Like, people will say to me, like, oh, it's so expensive to eat healthy. You know, like, there's an expensive way to do it. There's a less expensive way to do it. But that's just the cost of what it is.
Right.
So you shift your priorities. You shift your finances. You have to eat healthy. Or what? You want to feel disgusting your whole life and then die earlier? Like, I just can't understand, like, to save some money so that you can do, like, I can't comprehend it.
Absolutely.
I would rather have, you have to shift your priorities. You just have to.
Well, these are mindset shifts, you know. Mm-hmm. I think the first thing is getting in tune with your body. Some people are just naturally in tune. They have no problem.
Well, I mean, I feel in today's society, you need to you need to cleanse your mind of, because just like being on social media, you start to think other people's thoughts and wants and desires and whatever, and perception of life and what their life looks like. You start to think like that's what you should be, and you get all these shoulds. Mm-hmm. If you know anything about me, should is like, it makes my whole body cringe.
We say don't should on me.
Don't should on yourself. Don't should on me. No shoulds. Shoulding is the shoulds.
This is so shitty right now.
It's so shitty. Like, I hate that word.
Okay, we're the lame. We are the lamest.
No, but honestly.
Absolutely.
It starts with should.
Yeah.
Of all the things you should be. So you have to first cleanse yourself of all that stuff and get quiet. And that's why meditation is so important, and being quiet with yourself. And then, start to let your real priorities and who you are come up. Mm-hmm. It's just so much. You can become so steadfast in your beliefs and like single visioned.
Then you get really good.
You have to stop looking around what everyone else is doing, though. That's the other thing.
You do.
You get really distracted, and you start jumping on, other people's passions. Mm-hmm. You get confused. And I did that for so many years. Like, I would be like, well, this person looks this way, and their social media account is this, and they travel the world everywhere. So, I mean, obviously, they know exactly what to do in life. And if you just keep spinning your head around, like, you never go where you're supposed to be going, and you just get confused, and then it's just so exhausting. Mm-hmm. Which you think wouldn't be a thing once you become an adult. You'd think you'd know better.
Yeah.
But in this, like, I feel like in this culture with this social media and like the way just everybody has such a strong opinion, and we've put these people on pedestals that are really successful in a certain area, and then we start taking like life advice from them, and it's so dangerous. Like, people that literally hit the lottery by becoming a reality star. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, well, obviously they know exactly what to do in life because they're famous.
Definitely.
They've made money.
Yeah.
So then we should take all the advice in all areas of life from them. And it is so dangerous.
Right.
Like, I feel like everybody has kind of forgot that there is luck. Mm-hmm. It sucks. It's unfair. Life is unfair. It's not fair. Like, some people are really successful in like one area. It doesn't mean that you should listen to all the areas.
That's right.
Like Warren Buffett, I think he's brilliant, obviously. He's very successful. When I listen to him talk about how he eats, it makes my body crawl.
Absolutely.
And like, I love that man. I love listening to his life advice. I love, obviously, his financial advice.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he owns a big chunk of Coca-Cola, and I think he owns
it's not that.
He owns all of Dairy Queen.
His belief system is, you're gonna die, eat whatever you want.
Yes.
So he'll have ice cream for breakfast if he feels like it. And I'm just like, no, stop talking about that. Just talk about everything that you're amazing
talk about
at.
Investing, sure.
So I always use like Justin Bieber as the analogy. It's like, he has the world's attention, and he is unbelievably wealthy and unbelievably talented. it's like, but then if you sat him down and was like, okay, so what's your, advice on, whatever niche, whatever. And then everyone just starts listening. And it's like, this is not, you don't take that advice from Justin Bieber. Like,
Right.
we're in a weird place.
Yeah,
just
right.
because a woman on Instagram has like an amazing talent at decorating her home doesn't mean you should listen to how she eats.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
How do you stay centered? Like what are the things?
I don't. Like, I just try, I work at it.
Right.
Like, that's the other thing that's a lie. Like, people act like there's certain people that are like Zen masters that just stay in a certain place. That's not reality. It's something you constantly have to take care of. Like, I'm very honest about my that I flare up, and like that I like being transparent about that, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm sitting on a pedestal somewhere and like life is perfect. I think I'm pretty good at it. Mm-hmm. Like, I notice when things start to come up, and I kind of, work through it.
What happens when things come up?
Usually I get anxious.
Okay.
I'll start to feel like I'm not doing the right thing, because usually if I sit down and I'm quiet with myself for a minute, it'll come from, either a desire I'm not tending to, or, someone else is having like success or whatever in whatever area, and I'm thinking, oh God, like I should be focused on that. Mm-hmm. When like all I'm focused on is like my toddler being kind to other people and my baby sleeping.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's rough.
You're pretty good at separating yourself from situations, I find. Like, you're good at unfollowing things.
Oh, I have to. I'm a total unfollower. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm unapologetic about it. Like, I don't care.
Well, it's mental well-being.
But also I look at it from like the other person's perspective. Like, if I notice that if someone's on my social media and I'm starting to think like, for lack of a better term, like bitchy thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to send that person that energy?
No,
they don't deserve that. No matter what they're doing, they're not like, they don't deserve me sitting there going, oh yeah, like you really live like that. Bullshit. Like, who,
Definitely.
So I think it's kind for everybody. I don't want to be that person. Mm-hmm. Like, it's only hurting me thinking negative about another human being like that, and it's not kind to them. Like,
no, it really has nothing to do with them.
It has nothing to do with them. It's like my own stuff showing up on them.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing everyone has to own. I think in life, I own that. I think we all have to own it.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what's going on and how someone's treating you, whatever, nobody has to change. Nobody has to be anything different. It's all about how we feel about it. Because the reality is, if we're very centered, I find a lot of stuff funny.
Yeah.
Like, when people are mean to me or rude to me.
Definitely. If you're in that zone, it's hilarious.
And I constantly am trying to be in that zone.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly working at it.
That's really helpful.
But
it keeps it light.
But I try to also be really honest about it, like with the people in my life, because I think it's healthy. I think a lot of people are walking around pretending that they've got it all together, and I think there's nothing more dangerous or claustrophobic than like knowing you're a lie. Mm-hmm. Right?
Absolutely. I think one place where this is really helpful is in the health and wellness field. Like, I know personally and professionally, both. I have to streamline my input of health and wellness advice and information. And so I get most of my input from a very few podcasts. Mm-hmm. And then every other channel, I am not experiencing input. So if you go on my YouTube page, there are no, like on my homepage, there's really nothing about health and wellness.
No, I know. And like, people say to me all the time, like, have you read this cookbook? Have you read this cookbook? Or what health and wellness people do you follow? Whatever. And I'm like, I feel, because I don't have time to sit there and talk to everyone. Well, here's why I literally like, I don't buy cookbooks because it's not popular to say, but I don't like them.
Yeah.
I've never been a cookbook person.
You're not a cookbook person.
It's like, I align it to like someone that plays by ear, or someone that uses music, written music to play music. I'm a play by ear person. I like creating recipes. I don't follow recipes.
No.
That's not who I am. No. If I'm not coming up with something, like, my favorite thing in life is running out of groceries and having to like piece together a meal from like.
Do you know what this is though? This is the Richard Branson thing. This is the dyslexia thing.
Oh yeah, I have dyslexia, by the way.
So people,
if you don't know, I can't spell.
People with dyslexia have an incredible ability to be creative, and
it actually gets me high. Like, I just got excited thinking about it.
Oh my God.
Like, I love it. I love it when
I'm all zhuzhed up right now.
I love problem solving.
Yeah.
It's a very strange, like, I love it. I get like excited about it.
Yeah. Throw these groceries out.
Yeah. Like, so when we get down to nothing, it's like, I love it. I find it really like, I find it creative. I find it rewarding. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and also like, I don't want to follow health and wellness people, and I don't want to spend my day going, yeah, I don't believe that. Or like, I would
Right.
rebuttal in my head. Like, why would I do all that?
Definitely.
Mind you, there are a lot of people I came up with that I follow that are different in different branches. Like, there are people in like, say, the health and wellness industry that like are real, like fitness people that
Yeah.
like are real deals. Like, I came up with them. I
Yeah.
know this
You
girl.
know what they're doing.
She's like legit. She's not fake, right? So that's another thing. Like, if you want me to do us to do like any stuff on people that we actually believe in.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, like real deal
Oh,
people.
I could share my podcast list.
Yeah.
Not that anyone listening to this would care, because it's so boring. I gave a podcast recommendation to a patient a couple weeks ago, and they're like, "Why would you tell me to listen to that? That was awful. That was terrible. It was the most boring thing I've ever heard."
So funny, David.
Oh gosh.
I always recommend.
Yeah, I'm just.
People always say to me, they're like, did you listen to like this girl boss, whatever, or the founder of whatever lipstick, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I listened to Malcolm Gladwell. And everyone's just like, blink, 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 blink. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like you have to, whatever motivates you.
Definitely.
And not from a negative place.
Different industries inspire me.
Yeah, different industries inspire me in my industry. You're right. That is something.
Like, I could listen to Elon Musk talk about nothing and just, oh, wait a minute. Wow, he's thinking
Isn't
really
that
differently.
Interesting. And I spend a lot of time, like, I really hanging out in the, like, philosophy, metaphysics, and I also love history.
Right.
I like those realms. I really like that. I just love listening to, like, about what people were thinking during certain times and breaking down, like, psychology and, like, I don't know.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, I find that interesting.
Definitely. Yeah. Find what works for you. So back to this whole vegan thing.
Plant-based.
Plant-based. We were talking about we were talking about our kids and their lack of exposure to sugar, and then the introduction of sugar. Anyways, we've been doing this helping them with their nutrition from day one.
Yeah, so a lot of people have interest in, that our kids are vegan.
Yeah.
And what that means to us, and what the challenges are, what the pros are, what the cons are, and how we deal with people.
We get asked a lot.
We get a lot of questions about that. So, for us, we don't bring meat or dairy into our home. And we try to... meat is just completely off the table for me. Like, it's not even a thing. So when I say, like, try not to expose them to it, I'm not talking about meat. Meat's not a thing.
Yeah, it never... Oh, sorry, guys. It never resonated with you. It's
No.
From a young age. You
From
never
a child.
really exposed.
Yeah, and I was very fortunate to have a parent that was very forward-thinking, that he also wasn't... He just wasn't into meat.
Right.
He was, an animal advocate, and just always exposed me to plant-based diet. Never pushed anything. Just that's... how he lived, and I found it very inspiring. So with our kids, we just try to do the same. We have exposed, it's had to evolve. I had a lot of ideals when True was a baby. I didn't know True was going to be fire.
Yeah, right.
As
Spice.
like a human. And I also didn't know she was going to be 13 by the time she was 3. And I also didn't take seriously, social stuff. So, for instance, when we go to a kid's birthday party, everyone in our friend circle used to message me before parties and be like, I will go to this specific bakery and get this special thing for True. And like, they were
so kind.
They were like over the top kind. A, that made me super uncomfortable. This is your child's birthday. It's not about my child. B, I don't want, like, special turns into different for kids.
Yeah, right.
And kids are heard, this isn't the time to teach them about individuality.
No.
In that respect. So I started to feel, some moms, like, were trying their best, and they would literally, like, come over and, like, slap a cookie out of True's hand that had, like, dairy in it.
Yeah.
And they were doing it because they were, like, we're trying to honor our beliefs,
Right.
because they're incredible people. But what I saw is that was hurting True.
Yeah.
Right? She felt weird and different, and why can't I? Everyone's having this blank thing. So what I had to evolve with is that we're at birthday parties. She can have whatever the heck all the kids are having.
Absolutely.
And what I've come to realize is, and what is so wonderful, is that we live such a clean, healthy lifestyle that her taste buds are not attuned to the junk.
No,
So what
really.
always happens is True gets something, she's thrilled about it, like the look on her face just is like she's the most overjoyed. It makes me just cringe because I'm like, of course, like the junk, right? She takes a bite and it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. She never, demolishes anything. Like, it's never a problem.
Yeah. And she has no reactions to eggs.
And when True was little, I purposely and ever exposed them to eggs so that to confirm they didn't have an allergy, and to make it so that if they're at these things and they have something, nothing bad's gonna happen.
Right.
So
yes, they do really well. So now with this whole Game Changers documentary that has come out on Netflix, the discussion about this type of lifestyle or plant-based lifestyle in general is just all over the place. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's talking about it.
My advice for this is stay centered, people.
Stay centered, absolutely. People criticize, like
also,
people,
don't be, one thing from A Course in Miracles that I love, the lesson of A Course in Miracles, is in my defenselessness, my security lies. And I think there's nothing that screams insecurity or fear like being defensive.
Right. Absolutely. People criticize all the what would be called good texts about plant-based diet that are more modern. Like, people criticize the China study, people criticize blue zones for the vegan zones that they found. People criticize large plant-based epidemiological studies that show the risk of disease is lower when you eat mostly plants. So it's not really about being dogmatic. It's about saying, okay, this is really good for the health. It's to focus on consuming tons and tons of plants.
And you want to live in a world where everyone is allowed to have their opinion, A.
Absolutely.
B, though, look into where people's opinions are coming from. So when someone is like defensively negating something and it's not necessarily based on fact,
Absolutely.
let that ruminate in your mind.
You have to watch it. You have to watch it. A good example of this is a lot of people now are talking about mTOR. mTOR is a molecule that's increased when you consume meat protein. And it's present in tumor microenvironments. Tumor microenvironments usually stimulated by mTOR. It's part of the process. They can be stimulated by many different things. So say, okay, shoot, I need to keep my mTOR really low, so I need to completely avoid meat for that. Well, we need mTOR to develop muscles. But you can get an appropriate response from plant-based protein too. So do you absolutely need meat to build muscles? No. Do you need to avoid meat to reduce cancer?
See, and that's the thing.
Okay, so processed meat's on the list now. Red meat is on the list now. Colorectal cancer. So it's all very complicated.
It's very complicated, and no one has the patience. Everyone just wants the clickbait.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone wants the fast answer.
This is the answer.
And no one wants to listen to anyone that has the counter argument, which I find very upsetting.
Right.
Because I think that we need to be intelligent people that listen to actual studies. What bothers me is that everybody believes the click titles, or they believe the talking head that they believe in. So Joe Rogan had someone on, and they were kind of going through the list of why they don't, Game Changers is wrong because of this, because of this,
I think
whatever.
it was Chris Kressler, I think.
Great. There are points that he made that are very dumb about the documentary. Okay. And I just want, like, let's be truthful. Like, I'm a vegan, but, like, vegans also, like, it's not a cult.
Absolutely.
It's the same way, like, with feminism. Like, there's still women I don't like.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because, like, you know what I mean? Like, so there are parts of Game Changers that I think are lame.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. But I also think that, like, because he's an intelligent man that does come from, like, science and fact-based whatever and can read a study, he's also picking and choosing what he's talking about.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
There's also, the reality is that, everybody can have a different perspective on one piece of paper, even when it is science and fact. You can interpret different parts of that. So you have to really be able to, pay attention and actually listen to facts.
And not have judgment about where people are coming from, or what they're expressing, or what they're choosing for their family members.
I find it weird when people are defensive about things that aren't harmful. Like, I find Joe Rogan's I think he's obsessed with vegans. Yeah,
just that they're going to be really tired and sick forever and ever.
I think it's weird. I think it's creepy.
Yeah.
It gives me a weird vibe.
It's really tough when you see one or two people where that happens, and then you think it's everybody.
And what I'm saying is, like, he's the type of person that seems intelligent enough that he, on other topics, understands that grouping in the lowest and highest denominators of a population doesn't make sense.
Definitely.
Like, there are going to be really sick vegans. There are going to be really lame vegans. There are going to be vegans that just eat Oreos because they're vegan. Like, there are going to be obese vegans. There are going to be chronically skinny and depleted vegans. I can find that in meat eaters, too.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't a thing of vegan.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
And I also hate when people are like, well, I tried the diet.
Yeah.
Well, I did it.
I did it.
And
I gained weight.
Yeah, I gained
felt
weight.
Awful.
And I didn't feel good. Okay, let me see what you did.
Those croissants were hurting my stomach.
You know, you're vegan. I just went out and bought the vegan crackers.
How do these vegans eat so many croissants?
That being said, True is so addicted to croissants
loves
right
them.
now. Whole Foods came out with vegan croissants, and she is just like...
Yes.
Anyway, you know, I
think... it's really tough. And genetically, everyone's so different, too. You know, we know that we handle nutrients differently. So, you know, all the rage in the 90s was the blood type diet, which I don't really know much about. It didn't resonate with me. Resonates with some people.
But here's what I would say. It's like what the style of being vegan for me and the style of being vegan for you are vastly different.
How so? Tell us.
Well, just like one small thing, like chickpeas, like I could eat chickpeas every day for the rest of life and I would be thrilled. Like I love them. I do them all different ways. They don't agree with you.
No.
So if you were to come out
the question
and say...
is it the lectins?
Okay, just...
Sorry, go ahead.
So if you were to come out and say, you know, well, vegan lifestyle doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Even on paper, it's like, man, you ate so well, whatever. But we know now because you cannot consume large amounts of chickpeas like I can.
Yeah, no.
You know, so there's just so many little, you know, nuanced things that need to be discussed that aren't, I mean, no matter what, it's positive when people start talking positive or negative about things like plant-based diet. I think it's so positive for the world. And like we've learned through things like, you know, the Kardashians, Donald Trump, anybody that's uber famous, negativity is the best press you can get.
Is it ever?
So these people doing counter arguments that are super famous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like that they're like, you know, nixing it, but...
Don't expect that if you're going to become vegan or mostly plant-based that you're going to be tired and sick. Because it's definitely not true.
Or think it and then you'll become that. That's what bothers me.
Think it and you can become it, for sure.
It's like anything. It's like when you think, oh, quote unquote, dieting, you know, just for lack of a better term, is so hard. And then day 3 is really, really hard. And then you're like, see, it's so hard.
Yeah,
and then you eat a bag of cookies. No.
Like anything, you need to be smart about it.
Also, you need to go through the detox phases. You need to, and also stick with something long enough that you evolve. Like who I am as a vegan person today is vastly different than who I started out with. What I started out with was like, go to the freezer section of the grocery store, vegan this, vegan nuggets, all the vegan junk.
Well,
it's
amazing.
Vegan, right? Like I'm gonna
we
go
have
to,
replacements for. Look
it's
at
like
this.
It's like, you know, I get twisted about say like A&W coming out with like
Yes.
vegan nuggets and vegan burgers and whatever, and I'm like, that's amazing for plant-based culture that like people can go out and like, and that they're not, you know, they're coming off, you know, the backs of animals and they're gonna go into, you know, plant-based, and that's amazing, whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, you know,
these canola burgers taste just like an animal. That's amazing.
It's like Becca in Saskatchewan can't live off nuggets at A&W just because they're vegan.
No,
you know,
that's not going to work.
And then she's going to say it doesn't work for her and she gained weight and her bowels didn't work.
I went vegan and those burgers, those were delish.
So I think that's
tough.
why it's more important than any time in the world right now to talk common sense consistently and speak from fact.
And we're going to try and keep putting it out there. This weekend I'm doing a low carb talk in town here, and I'm doing I run this group called Low Carb Vancouver, and I'm giving a lecture this weekend about safe fasting. Because a lot of people are trying fasting. Some people, like anything, it's amazing. Some people, like anything, feeling terribly unwell, constipated, tired, stressed.
You know what I just thought?
What?
Well, sounds like they're not drinking enough water.
Oh my god! You're
David gets mad
water.
at me because every time he like anything is ever wrong with him, the first question I ask, and true too, it's so funny.
A lot of the time she's right.
I'm always right. She's like, I'll be like, how much water did you drink today? And he's just like, why? Does everything come down to how much water? It's true, though.
Definitely.
Most of the time.
So one thing that happens when you fast too much is if you do too much.
I was just going to make a joke.
Oh my God, I can't do it.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
let's move forward.
I was going to say you starve.
I won't tell you my fasting
if
thing.
you fast too long, you
People
starve.
who have hypothyroidism, I was going to say, people who have sluggish thyroid, when they fast, their metabolism goes down, even if they're on medication. The medication cannot work as well. That's part of it. But when you fast, you lose a lot of minerals.
Yeah.
And so you have to replenish them.
Yeah.
And people think, okay, I'm just trying to prevent cramps. But there's way more to it. Anyways, that's my topic. So putting this type of information out there.
Where can people find that?
Oh, you can find it at the Finlandia Health Center. Oh, I'm on the Meetup app.
Oh my God.
What?
Nothing.
That's amazing. Catch me on Meetup, Low Carb Vancouver. That's me. Anyways, don't judge people. Try and be smart about the food that you're eating. Think about nutrition holistically. Am I getting what I need? How do I feel?
And take in information as needed.
Yeah.
Is like just the overconsumption with information.
It's too much.
You could just get bad around all day long.
Don't eat liquid sugar. Try not to have added sugar. If you have added sugar, see how you feel.
Try to eat mostly real fruits and vegetables would be my advice, and nuts and seeds.
Mostly,
and,
absolutely.
You know,
that's the key. We should be mostly fruits and vegetables.
It. Mostly, like not at least packaged crap as you can possibly.
Absolutely.
Consume.
We'll do more about this in the future if you're interested, and we can talk more about the vegan diet.
Keep telling us what you want to hear. The one thing I did want to say about the kids and with yourself, like any lifestyle change, a lot of people will be like, the judgment and people blah 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 blah. You're gonna just have to make peace at some time that any decision that you make that makes other people uncomfortable,
right,
is going to have backlash. So if you decide to eat healthy and say you come from a family that isn't necessarily healthy eaters or hang around with a group of friends that likes nacho night or whatever, you're going to have backlash. But what that actually is nothing about you or your choices. It's a reflection in them. They're feeling, oh, I should probably make some sort of change. Instead of feeding into that and going positive and leaning into it, I'm going to get defensive and I'm going to lash out. It's that simple.
They're wrong. Yeah.
You're wrong. I'm right. Here's why your choices make me mad. Because in reality, eating a plant-based diet should not cause rage in any human being.
No, I would say not.
If it does, just remember it has nothing to do with you.
You're eating too many plants, my friend.
And the fact that it even makes people mad. I just, when I see Joe Rogan and his defensiveness, all that comes up for me is I see a man that must, on some sort of soul level, feel uncomfortable about murdering animals. I just do.
Well, maybe.
I just do.
Love you, Joe. Love your show.
Oh my God, obviously. And that's the thing. I listen to him.
Yeah.
At least
all
once
the time.
at least once a week I say to Dave, oh my God, I can't stand his opinion on whatever.
Next night. Who's he have on tonight?
Yeah, I am not afraid of disagreeing with people.
Definitely.
I think we all need to also listen to that. I love listening to someone that has vastly different political beliefs than me because I want to hear where they're coming from. I want to actually understand, not so that I can say, here's why you're wrong. I want to actually listen.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating that, we both can read one thing and have a completely different perspective on it or,
Definitely. I think you have to be that way.
You have to be open.
Well, thank you all for listening. We'll get deeper into the veganism and plant-based lifestyle in the future if you want to. Yeah. We've got an awesome new segment for you all today, and this segment's called Hot Tips. Hot Tips. Okay, so this, we promised this last week. This is Hot Tips with Amy Lane.
Oh, yeah.
Last week we were talking about the American Thanksgiving and your Thanksgiving prep tips, survival tips. And we kind of do this every year, but they evolve over time. I think you've got a series of good ones for today. So let's jump into Hot Tips with Amy Lane.
Yeah. Do you want to prompt me? You have my notes and I can't read your writing.
Oh, no. Okay, so you wanted to mention about meditation, staying present in the moment.
Yeah, so and if you're not into meditation, you can just say just a quiet moment with yourself. So before you head into anything social, something that is potentially emotionally inflammatory, like spending time with family members that there's a lot of old wounds there, whatever, people that you have to spend time with that there's stuff there. It can bring up all kinds of things for people. So I think it's really important, or just a busy day or being confronted with food if you have issues around that, or if you're just not, steadfast in your beliefs yet and you need some direction. The best direction you can get is from yourself. So in the morning of wherever you're going, sit quietly with yourself. And I like to use the term pray and praise. And I'm not talking about, a wish list to a reluctant deity to come down and save you. Praying, for me, and my interpretation of praying, is affirming what is real. So sitting in a quiet space by yourself and just saying things like, I always make healthy choices. I decide what I consume. I eat a healthy diet on a daily basis. Fruits and vegetables and healthy food make me feel vibrant and healthy and empowered. I'm in control of how I feel. I feel at peace, and I'm a touchstone for happiness and calm in all social situations. Whatever affirmations you need.
I love it.
And when you do that, even if you don't believe it at first, it sparks something.
My suggestion is to do it at the table with your drunk uncle there, and just go through them. Listen, guys, I need to do my affirmations before we have this meal.
No, your uncle, your Trump supporter, he has the hat on.
Oh my God,
your uncle that has the Make America Great Again. Just
guys, let me do my affirmations, please. I need this now.
I am an empowered woman that makes my own choices. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Anyway,
you might want to keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. There's some stuff that, I like to journal it.
Sure.
I like to get it out, put it on a piece of paper. Anyway, seriously, I'm not joking. This is all empowering stuff. See how the day is going to go. Plan it out in your head. Actually see yourself where you're usually uncomfortable with that uncomfortable relative being the touchstone.
Yeah, like you said last week, how could this be easy?
How can I be the one that makes today great? And the way they, I always think about the person that says hi to the stranger on the street because they're going to be positive, and then the stranger gives them a dirty look, and then they're like, oh, well, fuck you. And it's like, that's not appropriate. You have to be the person that's kind to someone no matter what they do to you, no matter what they say. It has to be funny. You have to come to a funny place. So no matter what anybody's doing, you be the calm. Mm-hmm. You be the touchstone. I always use the term for myself that I always want to be the gentleman in the room.
Yes. And
what that means to me is the person that, sees everybody and says hi to everyone and remembers something about them and asks them about it. And, holds the space.
Right.
Is the vibe. Try anyway.
Yeah, that's a good thing to keep top of mind in those type of situations.
Yeah. Bring it. Be it.
Bring it.
Don't look for it.
Do it.
Be the person.
Tip number 2 you wanted to mention was about what the plate should look like.
Go for all veggies. And you can be like, but we're going to Aunt Margaret's and all she serves is marshmallows. Well, bring
Let's get toasty.
Different flavors of marshmallows. So just bring a plate. People love when you arrive with food. And I always bring what I want to eat. So I'll bring a great big giant salad for everyone, or I'll bring just a fresh veggie and fruit tray. Then no matter what, you have something. Fill up your plate with the healthy food first, then put whatever that thing is that you think about all year, every year. Put a little bit on your plate, just a tiny bit. There, done.
Great. The next one you wanted to... Oh, sorry, is there something else?
No, I think I know.
Oh, the next one was to pick your dessert.
Yeah, so I always say dessert or booze, not both.
You got to make a choice.
For me, wine is... that's what I'm going to do.
That's what I'm going to do.
I don't care about cake. So one or the other. And that's your treat. Enjoy it. Don't go crazy. Don't binge on anything. Just, wear pants, I always suggest, that are snug. Don't wear anything too comfy.
That helps.
Wear something that that you want to feel good in. And you have to still hold your posture in and you look nice.
Yeah,
Dress nice.
You don't want to be on the floor.
Don't wear sweats.
Rolling around, not feeling well at the end.
No. Don't wear sweats. I just had a flashback to my grandmother's when all the men would be in the living room watching whatever sport, half in, half out.
Yes.
Just passed out. Yeah, do not do that. Yeah. That's not healthy.
No,
so
try not to do it.
Wear something nice, Drink your water that day. It's super important. I know it's a joke that I talk about water, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
No matter
it's important to stay hydrated that day for sure.
100%.
Number one for brain function. You want to be able to be present.
Energy, flushing all whatever you're going to do to yourself. Keeping it just going.
Absolutely. And finally, you usually say, let it go.
Yeah.
Little Frozen throwback.
Yeah. So you have your treat. Just don't beat yourself up. It's not a big deal. Move on. The exact next meal, eat super light and healthy. Definitely. I always say have a salad or steamed veggies for the next meal. Mm-hmm. Drink all your water. The next morning, wake up. Just let it go. It's over. No guilt.
Move
no
forward.
shame. Positive feelings only.
I find a really good way of doing that is to then jump into 14 or 16 hours of fasting. Like, I'm just going to drink
Overnight,
water overnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I finished the meal. Now I'm just not going to eat for this amount of time. I can have breakfast at this time the next day. I'm going to drink water during this period and just relax.
Good breakfast.
And that type of restriction is really healthy. You just let the digestion do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're going to be, a lot of people are fasting before Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah, and doing like prolonged fasting or at least long nights, no food. If you're going to do a prolonged fast before a large meal, you want to make sure you break it with protein and some healthy fat first.
Yeah, if you're having dinner, I always suggest still having, like, if you're breaking your fast, if, like, not to go against what you're saying, still having breakfast and lunch. I'm not
Definitely,
do not save up for a big meal type thing.
Don't break it with white potatoes
No.
and wine and you want to have a little something first and something that's slow to absorb. So protein, healthy fats, a little handful of nuts and seeds is a really good choice. Mm-hmm. And break the fast and just get comfortable with having some calories in your system again. Like a lot of people who use the Zero app, the fasting app, they did.
That reminds me, I deleted that off my phone. I have to get that back.
I think they did.
I can't do it yet. But
1 or 2 days of no food before Thanksgiving. So they're fasted today and yesterday. Today's Thursday here. I think, anyways, I follow their medical director on social media. That's one person that I follow. And they went through, because they were doing a very long water fast. It was either 2, maybe it was even 3 days. And then the real key here was, because it's such a broad thing, like who knows what medications these people are and a bunch of different things. Anyways, breaking it slowly. Don't jump into just a huge dinner, wine, potatoes, dessert.
I don't recommend that, by the way.
What, prolonged fasting?
No, like that kind of long water fast, like that's not my lane.
No. We don't do that in clinic either. We do medically supervised fasting
I think
in certain circumstances.
This is the other thing. Like someone was asking me the other day in my personal life about like this supplement and that supplement, whatever. And I'm like, what are your concerns? And she's like, I don't have any concerns.
Yeah. Don't take any supplements.
I'm like people, but this is the danger of like, say, social media, because people have to get the clicks and they have to get the content.
Definitely.
So someone will be like, everyone on earth should be taking blank because this, and this, and they are all benefits and it's a wonderful supplement. But if you don't have concerns and you're a healthy human, like supplement is the actual word what it is. It's a supplement. It's to supplement something. And a lot of things like that sound fabulous and amazing are for a certain lane. Like you are very much in chronic disease, and
we're doing some long fasts.
Yeah, you're doing different things. And like someone that's, just looking for general health and to feel better will hear these things or see the supplements and be like, that sounds amazing. I was that person.
Yeah.
I would be like, yes, I want to feel this. Yes, I want that. Yes, I want to detox. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. And then you end up in this cycle of just like feeling horrible because you're like doing all these things that are not for you.
Right.
And like, I was taking like 20 supplements a day. Like it's insane to think back. And then you get in this place and you just don't even know why you're taking all the things. Like if you're eating a very clean, healthy diet with things healthily on rotation and then proper supplementation for what you specifically need. That's why you need to, see a health professional, and get the plan for you and then put the blinders on and do the plan. Mm-hmm. You don't need all the stuff that Becky down the street. Yeah, she has nice abs. That's amazing. That works for her.
Right.
But people play around with this stuff because, a lot of stuff doesn't have like a terribly negative consequence.
Like even when we do longevity medicine, even when we're thinking long term and we're doing, trying to prevent the top 4, right? Mm-hmm. Top 4 cardiovascular disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and bone breaks. Mm-hmm. Even when we're doing that, we're thinking about the person's individualized lifestyle. It's personalized medicine. So for example, I walk a very busy street twice a day and I have significant exposures to toxins from exhaust from vehicles. Mm-hmm. I also
used to work on a Navy ship.
So in terms of longevity, there are some supplemental requirements for me maybe to make sure that my system is clearing out this everything. And if I don't do it, I feel tired.
And the other caveat I want to say as well, like because I often just will use the term like hormonal issues because I do a lot of things for my personal hormonal issues that I've experienced. Like I don't get into. Also, you need to know what those hormonal issues are. If you are a woman that you need to know, like, we can tell obviously quite easily just from talking to a person and seeing them, whatever, like if you say have high estrogen, but we don't know like if you have low progesterone or high progesterone,
Right.
or like you need to know all the other things. Like it's a blanket term.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, and I feel like a lot of these people that just like are, you know, holistic nutritionists like me will start like treating things that just make me a little uncomfortable.
Sure.
Because you need more information than just like
You do. I mean,
know.
that's a really great example. Like that's probably the main reason
'Cause
we
these
do
are-
hormone testing.
Yeah, and hormone testing is very important. Like, if I hadn't done hormone testing, I would have kept, even with our intelligence, I would have kept chasing my tail.
Right.
I didn't know what the problem was. And then there's specific targeted things you can do. And the wonderful thing is, like, within, like, 3 cycles, I think it was,
Fine.
I was, like,
No problem.
good to go. Anyway, sorry, those were a couple rants. It's just conversations I've literally had, like, on park grounds lately.
Definitely. No. And it's really common even in clinical practice. Why are we doing this? Why do we not need to do certain things, but we do need to do other things?
And, you know, some of these supplements just sound so awesome. And they are.
Yeah.
But they may not be for you. They may be for you. Like something very simple may be for you. Anyway.
Well, this is the whole thing. This is why I'm trying to do as many genetic reviews as I can. Everyone's so different. I'm trying to get really good at genetic reviews because we've got a ton of research for about 20 to 40 functional SNPs.
Yeah.
And it plays out. Now, what to do with each of them is becoming a little more complicated because there's a lot of advice
That
out there.
reminds me, I need to review my SNPs again.
I will do that for you because I'm
Thank
a
you.
little better at doing it now. And anyways, genetic testing,
Highly recommend. It's so fun.
highly recommend.
I mean, if you're into that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's really important for vegans who need to take B12, and
That's the other conversation I've been in a lot lately. Yeah. I mean, like,
so there are other requirements if genetically you don't use B12 and B9 very well, and sometimes we get a lot of insight from the genetic report, and we can alter it, and people can feel a lot better.
I mean, I know this isn't just because we're partners, but I do highly recommend having an evidence-based naturopath in your
that's
corner.
kind.
No, honestly, I do.
Yeah,
I really do. I just
there's
feel
some
like
really good ones out there.
even with like I'm a bit of a know-it-all
Okay.
in that, like, I don't mean in the negative way. I
No.
mean in the way that I study constantly. There's so many blind spots in my own, even with the wealth of knowledge that I know and have access to, and this is what I absorb myself in. And, you know, you start to think, well, I know all the things, so I don't need someone. There's so much that you don't. Like, you have so many blind spots. There's so many tests, simple, like, yes or no answers you can get, and someone that can set you on a path and, like, see things and ask you the proper questions. It just makes it so much easier, the process.
So much easier. And you want to find someone who has confidence in what they know and is humble about what they don't know.
That's the other thing that freaks me out. When people don't admit, like when I say like what my lanes are and what my lanes aren't, it kind of makes people uncomfortable. Yeah. And it's like, no, like everyone should know, you know.
I think it's really important quality in a clinician. And, you know, I can get overconfident in things sometimes because I have heard them from a reputable source, and then things can change very quickly.
Yeah, but the thing that's wonderful about you is you don't implement those types of things until you've researched it to the death, which is annoying as your partner.
Yeah,
but
and for patients too sometimes. I kept telling people last week, no, you can't do this. Amazing supplement. You cannot be taking this.
Yeah,
and
it's rough.
that's tough sometimes. Yeah.
But also, if people are looking for someone and they don't have access to them, you do Skype consultations.
Oh yeah, we do
if you're looking for that.
Connected consults with all people from all over the place. But, you know, having someone in your corner, really, really important, especially if you have a disease process or some metabolic issue going on.
I say anything. I mean, I just spent so many years. It just would have taken me, like, I would have got here, but it would have been a real, like, the supplements I was taking were the exact opposite of what I was supposed to be taking.
Yeah. And the diet you were doing too.
Exact opposite.
Yeah.
And I was listening to all the people and reading all the stuff, and I just, you know, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. No, everyone's so different. We just know so.
I just
so
want
much more
everyone
now.
to feel their best at the bare minimum. That's what I'm looking for in life. I just want people to feel good,
Definitely.
like resting place of
You
good.
want your clinician to feel good. You should feel the energy from them and the passion.
Passion.
And in the last 6 months, I'm 5 years into my career. In the last 6 months, things have really changed for me.
And again, to the defensive thing, it's real thread for me right now. It's coming up a lot.
Yeah.
It's always a red flag for me.
Right.
If you can't talk about something, or if you question someone you're working with on something and they're super defensive on a topic, red flag.
That's a problem.
Red flag.
Definitely.
If someone doesn't know something, they should easily say, you know what, that's not my area. I will research this for you.
I will get back to you.
I'll get back to you. And that's a good sign.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you brought that up. Well, I think Hot Tips was a big success today. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. And use these for the holidays if you're anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy your family. That's one thing that I always say, I know that it's all about the food, and take the focus off the food.
Right.
Enjoy the person. Like, if you have a grandparent still in your life, touch their hand.
Yeah. Definitely.
Ask them stories, you know?
Yeah. Go there.
The good stuff.
It's so worth it. It's so worth it. You won't regret it. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Amy will step out now, and I'll go through and maybe you could stay for this. Thank you. Anyways, Amy, thank you for sharing, because I know that sometimes it's difficult to talk about certain things. Veganism is probably one of them, because there's so much.
Well, and I have the problem with me is that I have so much to say,
right.
And I don't think anyone wants to sit here for 5 hours. So I really appreciate you guys sending me direct things you want to talk about, because it kind of directs my focus. Yeah,
definitely. That's
I literally could talk about health and wellness in different areas for
so fun,
and mindset. It's such a deep passion for me. So keep sending questions. Nothing's too big. Nothing's too small.
Yeah, we could go on all day, and Ever didn't wake up this time. So, right? It's all good. You can find us on all the social channels. Amy's on Instagram at instagram.com/DamieHealth or at DamieHealth. Subscribe to our newsletter if you want to get updates about the podcast or anything we publish on the blog. If you want to hear more about what we're doing. I'm in a private practice here in Vancouver if you want to work with me, and you can...
Skype consults as well.
Oh, that's nice. Well, you can find us on...
You've worked with a lot of my clients I have a lot of clients from Australia and the US, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
That they've been able to contact you.
Distance consults
The things that are out of my league.
Sure. And that's pretty much it. Subscribe to this podcast and give us a review if you enjoyed it. And you'll hear from us again next week. We'll be here. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.
See you.
Bye.